with us.
Go ahead and I don't have an agenda, but we can just work through it. I'll pull one up from online.
Okay.
So go ahead and as you normally would, I guess.
I'm just going to wait one more minute. I'll wait till 3:05, and then if Sarah comes on, when Sarah comes on, she can join in on.
There she looks like she's there.
It looks like her
Really?
there. Great.
Oh.
All right. Yay.
Okay, I'm here, guys.
We can have a meeting. It's so
Sarah.
exciting. All right, so I'd like to call the meeting to order. First thing we're to do is approve the agenda. Dennis, did you have anything you wanted to add to the agenda?
You know what? I didn't even get a chance to look at the agenda.
Okay. Well, I'll just read over it quickly and you can all decide if we need to add anything. So we're going to approve the minutes, hopefully elect a secretary, do a treasurer's report if we have the one. Of course, public comment, and then old business, staff updates, hiring a director, talk about the meeting time for this meeting, and then new business, talk about vaccinating seniors, and continue our discussion about the potential for doing a newsletter, and then have the superintendent's report, board of trustees report, which we don't have, and then public comment. So would anyone like to add anything else to the agenda? I would like to add tax preparation to the agenda, perhaps under new business. So let's get started. Dana was elected as our secretary and found that difficult. And so I took the notes that I had from the meetings that we had, and I typed up the minutes. So we have in front of us minutes from May, September, October, and the twice that we met in November. You've had these for probably 2 months now. So I'm going to ask if we can approve the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I move.
I second.
Second. Dennis. All those in favor? Is there any discussion on the minutes? All those.
No, you did a good job.
All those in favor of adopting the minutes say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, so we'll get those minutes up to the clerk's office.
Actually, if you could send them to Brenda and Taylor, that would be helpful.
Brenda and Taylor? Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Electing a secretary. Is there anyone among us who would be willing to serve as a secretary?
No.
At
Not
this point in
interested.
time, I don't have time to do it because I take care of my mom now.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll just keep taking notes and we'll see how that works. Do you want to do a treasurer's report, Dennis?
I do not currently have one.
You have the one that we talked about a month ago. The one I think was from July.
Right. Actually it's July 2019.
Right.
But
So you and Karen have had a discussion about getting some more current information?
we did. We just had that just a little while ago.
And so perhaps at the next time we meet in March, we could have that.
I hope so, yeah.
All right, good. Is there anyone who has any public comment at this point?
We have no public on right now.
Old business. Sometimes Mary joins us for these meetings. Karen, is she coming to the meeting today?
I don't believe so. I didn't have any contact with her this week, but
So could you give us an update on how things are going with Mary and the staff?
Mary just actually reattained her food license through the state, which is good. That often comes up every few years, and I think this is the first time that hers has come up since she's been with us, so she is now recertified. We will I know that we'll be getting to some other things down the line. If I cover something and you want to revisit it, we can go back. So Mary is still checking email and voicemail over at the center. We've had a lot of requests for equipment, which we've been fulfilling. There seems to be a great need for shower chairs and walkers. So we've been doling out a lot of those items to people here in the community. She has a stock. I bought her a stock from Amazon. I probably bought her a couple of hundred birthday cards so that she can send cards to people, and I believe that she continues to do that. I can't give you a number on that. She is still doing the weekly food program. Each week she's here and helps them with the I won't call it registration, but crossing the names of the people that drive up off the list. The police department recently donated some, I'm sorry, go ahead, Judy.
What are the numbers? What are the numbers we're at right now with that food program? Do you know?
I believe it's somewhere near 60, but I can't give you a good number.
That's good.
I
Thank you.
think she told me the other day that it's 72. I think she told me.
Oh, perfect. Sorry.
Great.
That's okay.
Last time I knew it was 60.
Great.
And then she, you may all well know that we recently obtained gift certificates from the diner downtown and sent those out with Valentine's cards to everyone. We've received a great deal of thank you notes from a lot of the seniors that we know that come to the center a lot. They thought it was great. We supported local and they were happy to support the diner. So they were very pleased with that. We do not receive a lot of calls. We've helped a couple of people through our front office with April and Jennifer, help them locate some shots, COVID vaccine shots. And the ladies have helped people get signed up and get on lists. But I would say that's probably been less than 5 at this time. And I know we're going to talk about hiring here in a little bit, so I don't know what else. We've painted the senior center inside. I determined it needed a fresh new look. I'm also considering doing the floors in there. Those floors that we have are time consuming. A couple of times a year have to be stripped and waxed, and they're difficult to maintain. So we're looking at redoing the floors, but I would need to put that out for bid, and I have not done that yet. So. But we are making some modifications. In terms of looking ahead for COVID, we are considering maybe switching the ends and maybe holding bingo at the other end of the room instead of near the door where people are kind of coming and going. And I feel like that kind of interrupts the flow. So if you all have thoughts about reorganizing the space, I think we are looking to make that better in terms of what activities people are participating in. Dennis?
I had a question. I very seldom, if ever, get on Facebook, but just this week I happened to get on the website for the township, and I was looking at pictures, and I saw several pictures from different angles of the piano. Does that mean you got rid of our piano?
We did get rid of the piano. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we tried to give it back to the person that had given it to us, but they didn't care to have it back. So I believe that there was very little interest in the piano. I think you played it, but it did take up a lot of space and it was heavily damaged from water and stuff. So we did get rid of the piano.
Okay. Now, I guess part of my concern is how come we weren't made aware? I mean, how come we weren't on that process? Was it just a decision that you made?
No, we actually talked to quite a few people on staff. We talked to Mary and this, not Julie, obviously, but we talked among staff, Linda, the people that were cleaning the building, and just determined that we'd had conversations, I believe, with patrons. I believe you were the only one that was playing it.
Okay, that wasn't something you felt that was within our, I mean, it seems like that's something the senior board should have been able to discuss too.
Okay. I guess I feel like that's an operational thing. I mean, I honestly, I didn't think to include you.
Which that's kind of what I noticed, and
Yeah.
same thing with the painting and all that stuff. It seems like we're being totally left out of the loop. Seems like someone-
It's honestly, it's my opinion that operations of the senior center, while I, welcome your advice, I look at this group as having a larger scope than just the senior center. I think Judy wants to speak.
Did you say you look at us as what?
As having a broader look than just at the senior center, broader scope. I mean, I look in terms of services that we can provide to the community. I think what we do at the senior center in terms of meals and games and education and enrichment for the adults, the socialization, but I look at this group as having a broader scope in terms of reaching out to people that don't attend the senior center too, and that might need something. So,
well, and I agree there. I just also felt like we should have some say in these other things, like the repainting and all that kind of stuff. And
so I look at that no differently than regular maintenance I do on the fire department. I don't consult the police and fire board when I do maintenance at the police department or the fire department. I speak with staff and we make the maintenance happen to keep the buildings in good repair. I see this really no different than that.
okay.
Who's got a baby?
Me.
Could you mute? Well, unless you're going to speak. So
Sorry,
Karen,
I gotta.
that's all right. You did it. That's good. So Karen, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, I read the Friday report every week and it says that the senior center is closed, but Mary's there a couple of days a week, isn't she?
Correct.
So is there any way that we could notify people that she's there?
Well, we certainly don't want people coming there. I mean, unless they need to pick up something. You mean in terms of calling her or?
Yes, if people think that the senior center is still closed, and Mary's there 2 days a week to provide resources and to pass out equipment and stuff, shouldn't we inform people that Mary is there 2 days a week?
We can certainly do that. People are still calling and getting services. I understand what you're saying, that we say it's closed, but people are still obtaining services. But for all intents and purposes, it truly is. It's not someplace that they can come in and sit or play a game, and that's what's closed. I mean, we can say that she's still providing services through phone calls and email.
I just think that more people would call and access the senior center if they knew that somebody was there and when they were there.
What you just said, Karen, I thought was a good idea. Just let them know that services are available through email and phone calls.
Yeah, I mean, people are calling the township to get help. They're calling the senior center to get help. I don't see there being any lack of people reaching out to us for assistance.
Now, Karen, I also want. Oh, go ahead.
Dennis, go ahead.
All right, Karen, I wanted to also mention, and I don't know, at one point, Alan and I had cleaned out, this was a year or so ago, had cleaned out the shed of the excess medical equipment.
Yes.
I don't know where that got put, but I just want to make sure you were aware that you said you're getting low on medical equipment. We do have additional medical equipment somewhere, unless it was disposed of.
No, so a lot of times when people call, they're very specific about like if they want a walker with wheels and possibly a basket. So there's been a large run on walkers with a seat that folds down so people can sit if they can't stand for long periods of time. So in terms of, that's what I'm referring to. Like a lot of people want walkers with wheels or walkers with seats or walkers with baskets. That's what's getting low. There is a reserve of equipment down in the basement that we still have, but in terms of people are getting very specific, like if they want a shower bench so they can sit and transition into the tub, we might have 3 of those, but right now all 3 of those are out because people are using them. So.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions about Karen's report about our staff? Are Julie and Linda working at all?
They're not. We, Mary and I talked about bringing them back as we look to transitioning when we were able to hire an assistant cook soon, about getting the kitchen back in order, taking stock of what we have and making a list of inventory that we're going to need. So they, right now they're not, but we do have work that we're planning for them.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions for Karen about Mary and the staff's work? Okay, thanks, Karen. So the next thing is hiring a director under old business, because we've been talking about this since, if you look at our notes, I think since September. So do you want to provide us with some update on that?
I would love that. I would, in terms of the term director, and I don't want to chastise anybody for that, using that word, but we, in terms of having people on staff, have a lot of directors of none or one. So I like having that termed as a coordinator, because that person really isn't overseeing Mary, but I say she, and I apologize, it could be a male. That person really is handling the services and all of that. So I've termed it coordinator. Obviously that's part-time. My plan is to release that and post that position this week and leave it open for a couple of weeks. Taylor and I will target several hiring boards that we've used in the past. We're going to get a large, I think, incoming applications of people that are just looking for any work and maybe aren't qualified to work in terms of specific work with seniors or issues related to aging. So we probably will receive a lot of applications, but the quality applications, I hope that we can at least get 10 good candidates that we can choose from, in terms of narrowing it down and finding that one right person for us. So that process will start this week and will happen over the next couple of weeks, at which time I close the posting for that position. I would like to open a posting for an assistant cook and see if we can't bring that person a couple of weeks to get a cook lined up, so that we can get them trained in terms of what is going to need to happen in terms of COVID procedures. There will be a lot of training on that, as well as the food handling procedures and any certifications that person might need.
So how many hours a week are you looking at for the coordinator and the assistant cook?
I believe the coordinator receives 28 hours a week. And then the assistant cook is very similar. I think it's 26 or 28 hours a week.
And those applications, position description, the posting will be on the Bath Township website?
Yes.
And can you let us know when that'll be up? Because I have several people who are in the aging industry and who would be interested.
Great, we can do that.
Thank you. Have you got a position description that you could share with us?
It's the same one we've always had, but I can share that.
Just an email so that we can share it among people that we know.
Okay.
That would be helpful. Have you decided whether or not it would be a 2-person job or a 1-person job, Karen?
I think it's important that we hired for Linda Borrego's position for her to take monies in terms of the lunches. So I would like to keep that. We didn't get much of a chance to implement that before COVID hit us last year. So I would like to see how that works in terms of having one person responsible for just the lunch money and then having the other person free to do other things, because that was one of the largest complaints we used to receive is I needed to talk to that person about a request or a need, and that person was taking money at the front, and I couldn't catch that person or find time to talk to that person in private. So I'm trying to really free up the coordinator to be able to provide that one-on-one care that people might need.
So that would be lunch money, euchre money, bingo money.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
I think that that job is important as a greeter too, when people come in and,
Very.
you know, if they're new, take them to a table where maybe there's a really great couple of people who they could speak to. I think that role as a greeter is very important.
I do too.
Any other questions for Karen? So how do people feel about meeting at this time? We've been doing this for about a year now, 3 o'clock on Wednesdays. Would anyone be interested in a different time?
I kind of like the 1 o'clock.
I was going to say 1 o'clock works better for me because it's right around lunchtime. The 3 o'clock time really interferes with, especially during tax season, really interferes with my day. So yeah, if we could go back to 1, that would be better for me.
Nancy, how do you feel?
1 o'clock would be great.
And Sarah, does it matter for you?
She's on mute.
Yep, you have to unmute. Sarah?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
It doesn't matter to me because my grandson's here, and so 1 o'clock would work just fine, just as well.
Okay, so then I would make a motion that we change the meeting to 1 o'clock. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. New business. Have you discussed any more with the health department about using the center as a site for vaccinating people, Karen?
Yes. So it seems at this time, and I've offered that, I've had that conversation with both Haley and not with Marcus, but with Tom Holmes. They know that we're willing and we're available, but I have not been told that that is something that they need from us at this time.
They just aren't getting the amount of vaccines that we need. And once we get to that point where they're rolling, I think that might be different.
See, I would love for the senior center to do that because I'm finding it hard to find a spot to get it done. So that's just me when I look.
It's not just you. People can't get online. They're having a very difficult time.
I agree.
I hear from people all the time about this.
I would hope that we would be able to do that. I know that in terms of space that they've often been looking for larger places or the drive-through places, but I think they could make it work. So.
Well, you know, because we have that experience with the flu vaccinations and, you know, we've done this before.
Yeah. I think the only thing that maybe creates a bottleneck is that people have to remain sometimes on site for 15 minutes and up to 30 minutes, but and probably be distanced from each other during that period too.
I wouldn't think it would be that hard to set up a drive-through program. We've got a big circle that we can go back out through the cemetery. That would be great.
Yeah.
But
they've had some of those out in the communities, like they've had them in St. John's, they've had them in DeWitt, but I don't know in terms of what the direct interest is. They just haven't seemed to pick up on us as a site.
I had my first shot at a community center where I'm on the board as a nonprofit, and they vaccinated all the residents who live in the village and then all the staff and all the board members. And they did it kind of in a circle where you had an appointment, you had your vaccination, and then you went and sat down. But what you did when you were sitting down was made your appointment for your second shot. You know, it wasn't like it was taking up a lot of
Okay.
extra space or took a long time, but I think we can work it out. I think it's a great idea. So we've talked many times about doing a newsletter for our seniors. And we know Mary can't do a newsletter. That's
Nope.
not her area of interest or expertise. But the longer we stay close, the harder it is for our seniors to be in touch with each other. And a newsletter, I mean, every senior center that I spoke to about 12 senior centers in this area, and they're all doing at least a newsletter every other month, if not every month. And so, Karen, what would you think about doing a newsletter?
I think that it could work once we get the new person on board, and that's something that they can take on. So it probably could be another month before we can delve into that more, but that's something that person could do.
Okay, so we'll just keep making a list of the possible things that could be in the newsletter so that we can generate ideas, and when he or she comes on board, there's some file of things that they could look through.
Good. I like it.
Most of the newsletters that I have read have a lot of classes available, like painting or sculpture, clay making, and it's just, and are we going to go towards that goal also or not?
I don't know. Pre-COVID, honestly, a lot of your counterparts just want to play cards. They want to play bingo.
Right.
Right. They haven't taken advantage of, and I say that in large numbers. I'm not trying to generalize.
Correct.
No one wants it, but I know 4 to 6 people took the diabetes path, some of that. Educational sessions, but in large part, your counterparts don't want to. They want to eat and they want to play.
Yep.
I did a crocheting class the last winter when we were open, and there were probably 6 people who participated in that class, and they loved it. But you know, there wasn't a huge interest in a craft-based class. But if there were interest, I think that we could find people. Like I know a guy in the Bath area who teaches drawing, and there are some people that we could call on who could do some classes like that for us. But
yeah, and I think if there were a list that coordinator could call upon to see if Judy wanted to do crochet again, or if I'll call him Bill wants to teach drawing to a group of seniors, or Sally wants to teach painting, that might be something we can try out. If there is interest in it, we can continue those things, but at some point we have to kind of acknowledge either they want to or they don't want to. We can't.
And you're right, Karen. They want to come and play cards and be together and play bingo,
which I don't oppose, but
right. Dennis?
Karen, do you have any idea what size a class could be? I'm thinking maximum size in the senior center, but still maintain the 6-foot distancing?
Well, and that's something I wanted to talk about when we were talking about the COVID. I think when we open back up, it's going to be very limited. We can fit 85 total, but in order to maintain that distancing with the tables and whatnot, I think we're not going to get any more than 20 people and maintain no more than 2 households at a table, keep them 6 foot apart. I think it's going to be very limited, and I'm a little worried at which point we get to that, how that works, if it's a first come, first serve, if we rotate people through, Bonnie and Al come on Monday, but Dennis and Judy come on Wednesday. I don't know how that works yet. So
I think we need to think about reservations.
Yep, reservations.
And if we get 20 meals, people are sitting in, then can we take more reservations and do 40 meals and 20 are to go?
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure those things out. Yep.
Right. Because even the health department said there's no reason that we can't actually do meals to go right now.
I would tend to disagree. The congregate meal programs are not operating, and they have a very strict guideline on when the congregate meal programs will open. So I understand that we can cook meals, but I'm very leery at this time. I'm trying to follow guidance, and I know that this has been a pushing point for a lot of you, but guidance from the state, guidance from the CDC, guidance from the congregate meal program, guidance from our own health department. And those things don't always agree. So we're picking through a lot of information and trying to do what's safest for a very vulnerable population.
I know there's a church in Okemos that does chicken dinners. And what they do, they're set up so they have actually two doors to the outside in their parking lot. And you pay at one door. Of course, you do have to make reservations ahead for it. You pay at one door, you go to the next door, and that's where you pick up your meal. So I suppose, I don't know if there might be a way we could figure something out like that.
Well, and with the meal program at this point, with the Tri-County doing the meal program, it causes some redundancy because people are able to get meals at this point too. So,
That's true.
And they're doing it for a much lesser cost than we could.
Okay.
I mean, I know that we're paying our people, but I mean, they're doing this for free. And it's, as long as we want that program to be here, it's going to be here.
Well, they're so boring.
Well, my grandma loves them, so she would disagree with you.
Yep. Any other questions right now? The next thing on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Do you want to share anything else with us?
Yeah, I do want to run through one thing before I do that. My plans are, in terms of COVID, Mary and I have agreed on a hand washing station that's going to go where the current drinking fountain is, where people can
Sorry,
wash
I can't. Could you either slow down or
Okay.
you and Mary what?
Have discussed a hand washing station. Current drinking fountain that is with either a dispensing paper towel that you wouldn't touch anything else, just the paper towel, maybe an auto soap dispenser. But we may be looking at switching out some of the equipment in the bathrooms as well to make things more touchless for people, whether that's a hand dryer that you put your hands into, or are able to sensor, rub your hands after you wash. But we're going to try to make some modifications that keep everyone safe.
Yeah, good.
In terms of talking last night, there is if you're interested, I know this has been a pretty hot topic in the community, but there's a internet meeting that's going to take place by the Planning Commission. We all know there's problems with internet in our community, access, speed, availability. The Planning Commission is going to discuss that tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It will be live on Facebook, much like our board meetings. So even if you just want to listen while you do something else, you don't have to take part, but you can listen. We are beginning to talk the revamping of Webster Road and our road contracts for this year, just in terms of roads being paved and improved, dirt roads being sprayed. So this is that time of year that becomes very intense work. People love road work. And then there's a lot going on at the board level, but I don't know in terms of probably the topic that you're all most interested in is obviously having a board rep. I can't tell you at this time. I know Judy was on our meeting last night. Committee appointments have been a very contentious issue for the board. Having board reps has been very contentious. Our current supervisor is opposed to having board reps sit to committees. She's also opposed to having more than one person sit to multiple committees. So if Dennis sat here to this committee, but he was also interested in roads, he would have to pick one or the other. I don't think, looking around this group, that that's an issue for anyone here. I know there was a person, and I can't, Susan maybe, that was put up nominated to be part of this committee. I don't know that I've seen that come back around, or when you may see another person on your committee. So I know that those are issues that Judy's been in close contact with Marie on, but unfortunately we don't have a good solid answer for you as to when that will happen.
So
How many vacancies do we?
can I
Oh,
just
I'm sorry.
I
interrupt?
got two of you.
If any of you know anyone who would like to serve on the Senior Services Advisory Board and willing to serve, because we have 5 members and we need at least 7. Marie was willing to go up to 9 for us, but I told her right now with COVID, we're not doing a lot of things like we have been in the past. If we could just have our 7, it would be great. But she, like Karen said, is hesitant to make appointments. So I'm feeling like if I gave her a list of 12 possible people.
Yes.
I don't know if she liked or did not like those, but
She's
if
very
any of
excited
you
about
have
new people.
anyone that you
So,
think would be willing to serve, would you let me know their contact information and I'll get that to Marie.
yeah, Marie's very excited about having new people. So I can probably be assured, Judy, that she's probably called the people that she recommended. She's trying to mine kind of new talent in the community to get participation. So she
Right.
talks to a lot of people daily. So I'm sure she's out there, you know, ear to the ground looking for people to help us.
Someone suggested to me the other day, the woman who used to, Millie, her old name was
Oh.
Caesar.
Yeah, Millie, I can't think of her last name. Fortin. Fortin, I think.
Right. I thought I might call her. All right. Anything else, Karen? I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're fine. If there's specific topics, please ask. There's a lot has happened since I've joined you in a while with the new board. So anything you have questions on.
Anyone have any questions for Karen? Thank you for your time, Karen. The
Not a
next
problem.
time, the next time we meet will be March 17th. I'm looking forward to seeing the position description for the coordinator, and I will get that out to people that I know. There are 3 people in particular that I know. One of you used to work at Timber Ridge, a couple of them. So I have 3 people that would be absolutely phenomenal. So I'll get them to get that information to you.
If you could also share, I hate to say like it means more when you know people, but sometimes it does mean a lot when you know someone. If you could share those names with me, if I get applications from them.
Sure, I'll reach out to them, and when they've committed, I'll let you know who they are.
Great, that's great.
Can I ask what the procedure is? I know in the past it has been the supervisor that did the interviews and stuff like that. Is that now, are you now doing the interviews for that, Karen?
The superintendent, my position has always been in charge of hiring.
Okay, well, I know when
You mean for
when
the
I
committees?
was interviewed by the supervisor at that time.
Oh, for the committees.
For the committee, yeah,
For the committees. I'm sorry, I thought you meant for the job.
Oh no, I meant for the committee.
I think Marie has been reaching out to people and discussing their interests and their resume, I won't say resume, their applications with them when she receives them in to see, especially if somebody says, oh, I would love to be part of Parks and Rec or Senior Center. I think she discusses with them what their experience and interest is.
But if we recommend somebody that she doesn't like, they don't have much of a chance then. Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know.
Okay.
I will not put that in the minutes. No.
No, don't put that in the
don't.
minutes.
No, I got the feeling from her that she's willing to reach out to anybody
I
who
think so.
is interested in
She said
serving their
several
town.
times she's willing to go
serving the
knock on doors. So
Yep, serving the community.
she's looking for people.
Yep. All right. I'll call for adjournment if no one else has anything else to bring before the board. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 No,
Oh,
All right, Dennis, what do you want to talk about?
Somebody said that last
Karen
night
knows. Don't.
at 10 o'clock.
The meeting last night, 2 people said no, they didn't want to adjourn.
Oh, yeah.
4
Al,
people said yes, but
right, that was funny.
I was like, I'm going home.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you so much, Karen, for your time. We really appreciate it.
Goodbye.
Take care.